Hey everybody, and welcome back to another weather sim forecast. And in today's forecast, we're going to be talking about a big weather pattern change that's going to be coming to the United States over the next 7 to 10 days. And what's going to be different about this is not only are we starting to see freezing temperatures out west, and this is mainly given the fact that we're starting to see a lot of that cold air from Canada start to surge on in. And then over here, and then over in the eastern United States is when we're starting to see some warm air still coming on in, and this will likely lead to some showers and even a few thunderstorms around before a cold front looks to roll on through. So we will let you guys know about that throughout the video, so make sure to stay tuned till the end so that we guys know what to expect for the next 7 to 10 days. And we'll begin with what's happening, and like I was just saying, we are already starting to see some freeze warnings currently in effect for areas of the northern plains, Rocky Mountains, especially the higher elevations, and even back down there into areas of Utah, which are currently seeing freezing temperatures as of right now. Doesn't mean everyone across the western United States is seeing temperatures down to 32 degrees, but we will definitely need to watch it closely, as areas like North Dakota will likely be seeing some frost and freeze conditions, so make sure you guys are being ready for that, as I do think some areas could continue to see those freezing temperatures even by the time we head into tomorrow. Which, let's look at that, because you guys can see that for right now we are starting out the morning in the higher elevations with freezing temperatures, and then overall it is looking pretty warm and pretty pleasant overall out here in the east. And you guys can see how we are going to continue to see that cold air surge on in out there to the west, still bringing freezing temperatures by the time we enter tomorrow. And then we are going to see kind of a piece of cold air, at least that's what I would call it, because it's just going to be a small area of air that's going to be surging on down like this, which will bring 30s over here across the east coast, and maybe even some freezing temperatures in the higher elevations over there in New England. You can see how we also see those 30s and 50s show up across Michigan, Wisconsin, Illinois, Indiana, and even parts there of Kentucky, already starting to see those 40s as well. And then you can see how we are going to continue to see that cold air persist again, as we are going to continue to stay not only in the 30s but even the 40s by the time we head into Friday later this week. And once again, we're just going to continue to see that probably until we get to the weekend, which will be Saturday, Sunday, and even into Monday of next week, where we are going to start to see those temperatures warm right back up. Okay, so we just want you guys to keep in mind that we will start out kind of cold by the time we head into the middle and as well as the end of this week, before we start to see that return of warmer air again by the time we head into the weekend and even the start of next week, where we are going to start to see those 80s and potentially even some 90s start to return again, which is pretty unusual for fall, especially in areas like Illinois, Iowa, and Missouri. Let's talk about a storm system that is currently ongoing out here in the east. I don't know if you guys remember that at the beginning of the video, but like I said, we are seeing some warmer air as of right now, which will trigger some showers and even some thunderstorms over here in the east, as you can see, especially across areas of the Ohio Valley, deep south, and even parts there of the Tennessee River Valley by the time we head into tonight and even this evening, where we are going to continue to see showers and even some thunderstorms continue to develop. And then, like I said, we will then start to see that cold front come on in, which if I look at it right, I think the cold front is about right here, and that's not what I want. I wanted the pen. There we go. Let me draw that a little bit better. So the cold front is located about right there, as you can see, heading from areas up there into Ontario and all the way back down there into Texas, where we are seeing showers and widespread rain develop right along that cold front. And then you can see that after that cold front passes, we are going to mostly see areas of the Ohio Valley and even down there into areas areas of the Tennessee River Valley start to clear out by the time we head into tomorrow evening. So if you got any plans tonight or even for your morning commute tomorrow, make sure to be ready, as everyone will likely be experiencing rain, including the Ohio Valley and Tennessee River Valleys, not only tonight but also even as we enter tomorrow morning. Now, the other thing we need to worry about is flooding, okay? Not only are we going to be taking a look at these rainfall totals, but we will also be looking at the flood risk as well over the next few days. Starting off with the rainfall totals, you guys can see that across this entire area right here, where you see that maroon color, which is kind of like the brownish orange, this is where we could be talking about 1 to 2 inch amounts. But then where you see those yellow colors is where we could potentially be seeing isolated higher totals. Now keep in mind that that doesn't mean there will indeed be 4-inch totals, because that's what that yellow color means that you see across central Kentucky, but there is still the potential that some of us might pick up some isolated higher totals, which I would not be surprised at all if we saw maybe some isolated higher totals in Indiana, a few isolated higher totals in parts there of Kentucky, or even some isolated higher totals over there in Arkansas and Missouri. So overall, widespread amounts between 1 to 2 inches can be expected, with isolated higher totals up to 4 inches possible, which we don't really expect that to really be the case in just one area, but we will definitely watch it closely as flooding issues do appear likely. Now, the reason why is because we do have a slight risk for flash flooding today. This is going to be mainly later today and into tomorrow morning, where we do have a slight risk for flash flooding across northern and western Kentucky, southern Illinois, southern Indiana, and even down there into parts there of Arkansas. Will likely be seeing the potential for some flash flooding. Now, once again, just because it might look like a certain area might get some higher rainfall totals than others does not mean everyone's off the table for that. And like I said, for how everything's looking, I do think there will likely be some isolated higher totals, like I said, even across Indiana, down there in Arkansas, and even across these other areas. So we just want you guys to keep that in mind, especially if you guys got any plans outdoors today or even tonight, because like I said, even though it might look like an area could see higher rainfall totals, we expect that to be more on the isolated side of things instead of congealed into certain areas. Now, tomorrow is when we continue to see that chance for some flash flooding across Kentucky, extreme northern Tennessee, just to the north there of Nashville, up there into Ohio, including the Louisville region, and even back over there into areas of West Virginia. We'll likely be seeing some flash flooding tomorrow as well. And like I said, that goes for the same thing, where we're not expecting just one area to see isolated higher totals, but we will definitely need to watch it closely, as I do think a lot of this yellow area will likely be seeing isolated higher totals to where it could potentially even lead to some flooding issues. And then it does look like that will come to an end by the time we head into your Wednesday, and it really looks like it will come to an end by the time we head into your Thursday. Now, the other things I want to talk about is what's happening right now with the fall foliage, and that's mainly across the northern United States as of right now, where we got that yellow, orange, and red showing up. And like I said, I just thought I would point this out to just let you guys know where we're at in terms of fall conditions this year so far. And like I said, that's mainly across the northern United States, the Rockies, higher elevations, and like I said, even some of that looks to be across the East Coast, where we are not only seeing lighter color showing up, but we're also starting to see some areas even get their past peak foliage. So that is definitely something that we're going to keep an eye on closely, because I do expect some of these colors to continue to expand down south, especially as we head into the middle of October. So we will watch that very closely, as it does look to be a pretty good fall this year, even though some people might see it a little bit later than usual. And then the last thing I want to go over is the tropics. And like I said, I also wanted to let you guys know about this too, especially since we do have an area of development over here in the Atlantic Ocean, which currently has a 70% chance of development. And then we also got a hurricane ongoing, which will intensify to a Category 2, maybe even a Category 3 hurricane before it then weakens down to a tropical storm. And you guys can see with that, like I said, it will start to strengthen a little bit, especially by the time we head into tomorrow, before it then starts to weaken into a tropical storm. And it looks like it will actually almost be completely gone before it even reaches the Gulf of California, and that looks to be by the time we head into October 10th. So it doesn't really look like that system will necessarily be a concern, even though it could still maybe bring a few showers and storms to areas of Mexico and maybe even parts there of the southeast. So we will be keeping an eye on that very closely. And then over here on the Atlantic side is where we are seeing once again that low pressure system, which is right there. Here, I'll move it back so that you guys can see the low pressure system that we are watching for is located right here, and you guys can see that the European model does not show that system really getting its act together, at least not like how the other models show it, because it really just shows an area of showers and thunderstorms. So that really doesn't really look to be a huge concern at this time, but like I said, we will still be watching it closely, as there still could potentially be seeing a couple areas get some rain, or maybe even a few areas of development still remaining possible. But like I said, as of right now, just showers and thunderstorms looks to be the main concern, even though that system could potentially still form into a tropical depression. But like I said, the European model does not show that, so I also don't want to completely say that it will develop, but we will still be watching it closely. But thank you all so much for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. Make sure to subscribe to the channel, as we will continue to keep you guys up to date with the latest, and make sure to also turn on all notifications, as we will continue to keep you guys up to date. So we will definitely let you guys know about what to expect as we head into the next few weeks. And I hope you guys have a great rest of your Monday out there, and I hope to see you guys in the next one. Thank you all so much for watching, and goodbye.